I'm starting my Sacred Islands journey by travelling across the Firth of Clyde to the islands of Arran and Holy Isle. This is where I come to just soak it up. I'll meet people for whom faith and land are deeply connected.
When you live in a place like this, there is a sort of spirituality. You know, you can't help but feel that. Church is everywhere, really.
And find old religions in new places.
The minute I stepped off the boat, I felt like I'd arrived somewhere very special.
Join me on an epic pilgrimage across 12 of Scotland's magical, sacred islands. I'm setting off from the mainland port of Ardrossan and boarding one of Scotland's busiest passenger ferries. Each year it takes nearly 700,000 visitors to the Isle of Arran. It's just a short 55-minute journey. I can already glimpse the island through the haze across the water. Arran lies 13 miles away, across the Firth of Clyde. Plunging to depths of 160 metres, these are Britain's deepest coastal waters. From here, I'll take a short hop across to Holy Isle, off Arran's east coast, before returning to Arran for my remaining time on the island.
What's particularly unique about this island is that if you get your timings right, you could be from the centre of Glasgow to Brodick, where this is going in about an hour and a half. And I'm wondering what that does to the spirit of the island. I'm wondering how that changes the dynamic there, because there's huge urban conurbation just a stone's throw away, and yet that is wild.
Arran lies 70 miles south of Iona, where Christianity was first established in 6th century Scotland. But Arran's spiritual past is ancient and diverse, spanning the Stone Age to Celtic pagans, then early and modern Christian faith. I wonder how that diversity is reflected today.
I love the way the island is just slowly revealing itself. The mist is starting to lift.
I've never been here before, and I love that sense of excitement, arriving somewhere new.
Here we are, Brodick.
Arran was formed by ancient volcanoes, and the island surrounds its magnificent central peak, Goat Fell. The Highland boundary fault line separates the rugged mountainous north from the green lowlands of the south, earning the island its nickname, Scotland in miniature. It's home to nearly 5,000 people, but the population swells to 25,000 in the summer when visitors arrive.
My first thoughts are, feels quite urbanized. Feels similar, or looks similar, to the mainland. But I'm hoping that my time on here will give me a different perspective.
The village of Brodick is Arran's unofficial capital and the gateway to the rest of the island. It's always busy at an island harbour, so I'm heading south and off the beaten track. My journey's starting on Arran's southwest coast. It's the least developed part of the island, and soon the urban feel of Brodick gives way to the island tranquility that I'm so drawn to.
This is so peaceful. It's like being in a library. I feel I need to whisper.
In this fertile part of the island, the land bears hallmarks of the continuous worship in all its forms that has thrived here for thousands of years. Land and religion are traditionally deeply connected, as countless generations have called upon their faith to provide for them. I've come to meet Donald Curry and his family, to discover if a bond between farming and faith might still exist here today.
Hey, Donald.
Hello, Ben.
Nice to meet you. Can I come in?
Of course you can.
Thank you so much. Could you imagine living anywhere else?
Probably not. I'm lucky at what I do. I like my job. I suppose it's maybe part of my hobby as well.
Yeah.
It is a lovely place to stay.
Look at the view from here. Well, no, don't. You look at the road. I'll look at the view.
That's okay.
Wow.
Donald is taking me home to the farm. His family have continuously farmed this land for nearly 200 years. I've been invited to meet Donald's wife, Ailsa, the farm manager. I want to understand what has rooted them here for so long.
Ben, this is that picture is my auntie.
Wow. Do you know what kind of period this would have been?
I think in the 1930s. Wow. This here is that'll be my great grandpa. I mean that could be the early 1900s.
How many generations back can you count your family farming here?
Well, it's the way back to the mid-1800s anyway. It's a long way, yeah.
Same land?
Same land, yes.
I'm imagining your great-grandfather and maybe even your father would have been around at a time when the church had quite a lot of power. I'm also wondering how the island relationship with the church may have changed. Do you recall that? Did you go to church as a young boy?
I did, yes. We had to go, I suppose, you know, and we went to the Sunday school, but it was part of education.
It still does bring people together, but probably in a more casual way, whereas that was much more regimented in these days.
Island church life is changing. Since the time of Donald's grandparents, Scottish church membership has dropped by nearly 3/4. But some things have stayed the same for generations.
I'm wondering how you see your relationship with the land as farmers, but particularly here on a relatively small island.
When you see the sort of different generations that come and go, I mean, we're really sort of fitting into that. So you're sort of custodians almost of the land, and you're doing your bit to hand it on to the next generation.
The next generation of Currys is 18-year-old Donald Jr. and 14-year-old Andrew. Donald Jr. has decided to one day take over the 200-year-old farm. I've asked for a tour, and I'm keen to learn more from him about growing up here.
What's your earliest memory coming out? How old do you think you were?
I think I was probably 4 or 5.
So we
Helping in the lambing shed.
used to sit in the pram at lambing time, and we had him in a pen, and then I would take him down the house, feed him, and then back up again. Donald's done it from day one, really.
So this really is in the blood.
Yeah.
Donald Jr. now looks after his own flock of 25 pedigree Beltex sheep, and I've offered to help round them up.
Okay, so what is the plan now? How are we going to get them in, Donald Jr.?
We'll just walk around them and block all the gaps between the 3 of us.
I love the fact you make that sound very easy. Have you ever seen my sheep wrangling? No, it's not very good.
This isn't going to go so well.
With absolutely no help from me, the sheep are safely in their pen.
There's some young whippersnappers in there that aren't so keen to do what they're told.
It's a chance to learn from Donald Jr. more about his plans for the future. He studies agriculture at college on the mainland, returning home each week to help out on the farm.
Your family have many generations that have worked this land. Do you feel a pressure that you have to do it?
I do want to keep it going. I'm not pressured, though. I do want to keep it going because I feel it's important.
How many of your friends from school are still here or are planning to stay?
Not many, quite few. I was one of the only ones. I've got the farm here, that's what's keeping me. I just love it here. Just love helping on the farm here. Yeah, I always want to come home.
There can't be many 18-year-olds with such a sense of purpose as Donald Jr. Though church life isn't as active for the family as it once was, when the boys were young, Ailsa was keen to share with them something that's still important to her.
I was quite particular that my boys were brought up in the church. They went to Sunday school every week, and I just think that's really important. It kind of gives you a grounding in life, and you know, no matter where they go from now on, whatever happens, they always have that kind of in their little filing cabinets to refer back to. I think that is really important in life. You know, when you live in a place like this, you know, there is emotion, there's values, and there's sort of spirituality. You know, you can't help but feel that. And I mean, the church fits into that as well. You know, church is everywhere, really.
Faith in its many forms has been integral to island life, and religion was once incredibly powerful here. And I'd argue that the faith that Donald and Donald Jr. have is in the DNA that's in the soil that worked for their family, that worked for his father and great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather. It's almost a faith that you know that this will provide for you. You know that this is your safe place of belonging. For 7 generations of the Curry family, the role of faith has been adapting and changing. It's now time for me to explore more of the island, to discover what might happen as people start to move away from traditional church life. Head north on the circular coastal road, and you'll find Arran's 14 villages dotted along like pearls on a string. The village of Pern Mill lies in the northwest edge of the island, and I've heard it's home to an unusual church. Nestled in the hillside, as if it grew here with the trees. It's not a grand building, but it's certainly an important one. In the mid-20th century, Sunday worship was a way of life for many Scots, and church membership peaked at around 2 million. So-called tin kirks made from corrugated metal were manufactured on the mainland as sort of ready-made churches and brought to island villages. It was a simple way for small communities to create their own new places of worship. But traditional worship is changing, and there are questions about the long-term future of many of Scotland's churches. Sadly, just a few months ago, after a century of use, the islanders came together to bid farewell to this church as it closed its doors for the last time. As soon as I step in, I can feel this is a sacred space.
Such a powerful smell. It's sort of damp wood, unused. This was built in like the 20s, prefab. Quite a beautiful prefab. It was used for 100 years here.
The really basic heaters under the pews, you just plug them each one in, warm up the legs. I'm not a churchgoer, but I appreciate a sacred, special space, particularly one like this, funny enough. I think the love that has gone into this church, the generations that have come into this temporary structure, can't be underestimated. You can kind of feel the power that once was. And there's a melancholy in here. Yeah, there's a sadness to any place that has been abandoned. But if there simply isn't the congregation, that's symbolic of a change in the community. It's people that make a community, not buildings. An island spirit is strong. Faith, belief and community values still have a significance here on Arran. But I wonder how those things will be shared now. It's early morning in Brodick, and I'm waiting at the harbour for a delivery from the mainland. Meeting me is Fiona Lane.
Fiona,
Ben,
how are you doing?
Even if you don't have a faith, community values are the pillars of island life. Fiona has enlisted my help today, so she can show me more of the island and introduce me to some of the residents.
Good morning.
She's collecting newspapers to deliver to the island's 6 shops.
Right, I can help you put them in. Do they have to go in a specific order?
yeah, they've all got their own number for each
Okay.
shop.
Okay.
So they go in their certain piles. Yeah.
Okay, you might have to direct me. Shall I open this for you?
Yes, please, thanks.
Fiona grew up in Lanarkshire, but moved to Arran in the 1990s, after many summers holidaying here as a child.
Yeah. The easiest thing is if I just give you a bundle and then I can sort them out once we get them in.
Okay.
She started the paper round in her early 20s, and nearly 30 years later, she's still doing it.
There we are, good to go.
How many miles do we have to cover today?
About 30 miles today.
30 miles.
Considering I do 25,000 a year, that's
25,000 miles a year
On
a
Arran.
small island.
yeah.
The newspaper round is just one of 4 jobs that Fiona does to keep the island ticking. As an on-call emergency volunteer for over 600 hours each month, she's a modern-day Good Samaritan, helping to keep her community safe.
I just spotted some of your medical stuff in the back there.
Yeah, that's my first,
So this is- so
first
this is-
responder bag.
So this is this is the newspaper delivery van and the first responder
Responder van.
and the Coast
Yeah.
Guard van.
I do a lot of different things.
Yeah. How do you prioritise? What happens if you suddenly get a call out, like a shout from the Coast Guard? Do you drop everything and go for that?
For a first responder call, yeah, you drop everything.
Do you have a blue light you can stick on your roof?
Not allowed. No.
Oh.
No. You have to drive by the rules of the road.
Sure.
And what a road to drive. I think this could be the best paper route in Britain. It's easy to see what attracted Fiona to come here, but what made her stay?
What is it about the island that you like so much?
I never felt fitted in on the mainland, never felt at home there. Coming to Arran, you can be what you want to be, and I wouldn't be able to do all I do if I was on the mainland. You don't get rich living here, and most of the emergency services stuff is more or less voluntary. This is my bread and butter, which I earn enough money to let me do everything else.
Turning your hand to anything is key to success on an island, but not many people do quite as much as Fiona. Our first drop-off is to Jim McMaster at a shop in Blackwaterfoot.
Morning, Jim.
Good morning,
Hey.
everyone. Shall I bring these through?
Jim's family were tenants of the farm Fiona's parents took her to for holidays. He's known her longer than anyone else on the island.
Fiona was saying that she's known you or your family.
Since I was 5.
I didn't want to mention how many years ago it was, Fiona, but we'll just leave it at 5. Many years ago, back in the 70s.
And that's when you were coming on holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're coming every year, every summer, annoying the good people at the farm. Every summer.
That's when I got this idea of working continuous. She believes that that's how we all do it. We just do it for the summer when the visitors are here. And in the winter time, we go back to being the usual.
It sounds like she works pretty hard.
On the job she's got, on the hat she wears, from the fire brigade to the Coast Guard to the papers. Quite amazing watching her from a distance. She just likes to know what's happening. Some people say it's nosy, some people say it's a good neighbour. And that's one of the things we try to preserve in the island, is the community spirit.
I want to keep chatting, but we're on a tight schedule, and it seems I'm already slowing things down.
That's not too bad, is it? 9:30.
We on time today?
No.
I wonder how that tourist summer season that Jim mentioned affects island life.
Population here will maybe increase to 25,000 in the summer,
Will it? From how
from
much?
about 5.
How does that impact the island itself?
There's a strange feeling when the last ferry leaves. There's a sort of calmness and tranquility falls over the place. And you can almost feel it sigh.
I love that.
So there's... It also enables quite a strong community to within, you know, to build up, and there's an element of looking after each other and a resilience. You know, that being an island, you have that inner resilience as individuals and as communities.
Fiona has provided that resilience through her work as a vital services volunteer. But she's also been there to give emotional support to those who've really needed it the most.
So that's it for the final drop.
Okay.
Hazel Cranston was facing particularly tough times when Fiona stepped in to help.
How would you describe Fiona? Sounds to me like she's a little bit of an island hero.
Oh, she definitely is. She definitely is. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do without her. I don't know what the island would do without her, to be honest. I'm welling up even thinking about her and everything she's done for me.
Why does that make you so emotional?
I think I might have thrown the towel in a long time ago if Fiona hadn't been there for me. If they say that, what is it they say, fire, flood and pestilence? Well, I've had a fire. We had a flood a month after we took over the shop. And we get midges every year. So, yeah, we pretty much get all. And Fiona's been there for me on every single occasion, even when she didn't really know me.
Keep that chin up.
Oh,
and you've got an amazing community here.
Yeah, and she's top of the list.
Yeah. I've had such a fun morning with Fiona, helping her out. She is very selfless. She cares about the people here. It's very beautiful to see people moved to tears by what she means to them. Community is important wherever you live, but when you are on a small island where once it was the religious community, that's what brought it together, that obviously exists here, but in a diminishing fashion. So the new thing that brings communities together are people like Fiona, that wear many hats, that know everyone, that are the first to go to people's help, whether they need it in times of great distress, flooding and fire, or whether it's just a friendly face delivering the newspapers. And she has shown me a side of this island that I could never have experienced as a visitor. And I feel very lucky to have seen that side.
Just like Fiona, newcomers of all kinds have found a place and a purpose here on Arran. And faith does still run deep here. It's just found in more unexpected places. My journey around Arran's circular road is drawing me back south, to Whiting Bay. Friends Barb Taub and Sharon Shenhov and their families are the only Jewish residents on Arran.
Barb and Sharon?
Hi, how are you?
Barb moved here from America, and Sharon splits her year between Arran and her home in Israel. I'm curious to know how their faith fits into their lives here.
Very nice to meet you, Bob.
So nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you,
Nice
Sharon.
to meet you. Well, come on in.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
show you.
Thank you.
Barb and Sharon founded a Jewish association to share their culture and faith with curious islanders, with concerts, theatre nights, and baking workshops.
How many members of the Arran Jewish Society are there? It's the two
The
of you.
two of us. We're exclusive.
Amazing. And you guys have agreed to give me a little insight into Jewish baking?
Not only
Right this
bagels,
way.
you're going to make challah.
Okay, I
you
can't wait
say
to...
it?
Challah.
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 It's our Sabbath bread.
Kind of clear your throat as you say it.
Is it? Okay. Where's the kitchen?
Come
Lead-
on back
lead the
this way.
Challah is the special braided bread eaten at Shabbat, the Jewish Sabbath, a holy day of complete rest from sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday.
For observant Jews like me, we don't do any work on the Sabbath. We don't cook on the Sabbath. Everything is prepared before we light our candles. And then we have 25 hours where we don't use any electronic equipment. It's a time for friends and family and not the outside world.
It's very similar, actually, to the Western Isles Free Presbyterians who have their Sabbath, and it is sacred, and shops are still closed, and that is still very much a thing, Sabbatarianism.
Yes.
So there are obviously commonalities between the faiths.
Except we came first.
Yeah.
But yes, because it's well discussed in the Old Testament, is obviously part of Christianity.
Okay, I hope you approve of whatever loaf I end up making for you.
I'm sure it'll be good because you're going to follow my
Okay,
instructions.
I'm going to follow them to the word. Who taught you?
Actually, it's my daughter-in-law's recipe that I use.
Is it?
Because I didn't have to make challah until we came here. In Israel,
You just go to the
you
bakery.
go to a shop, any grocery store on Friday, that's almost the only bread you can find. And I never made it at home. Making bread together is a special bond.
Social.
Yes, communal, and maybe even a bit spiritual.
What do you think?
Yeah.
It's quite good?
Look good.
It's
Now,
beautiful.
you see this?
Yes.
This is called hafrashat challah. That's Hebrew. It means taking a portion out of the dough and baking it separately and really burning it.
Oh, right.
And why is that? From the Old Testament, God says to Moses, tell the people that when they cross into the promised land, when they make bread, they must take a portion out and sacrifice it, and they must do that for all the generations to come. So all my foremothers for the last 3,200 years have been doing this, and I'm part of a long, long chain of taking the dough, which we will burn. And to show that I'm grateful that we were taken out of slavery into freedom.
It's fascinating that it was coming to Aaron and having to make challah bread for the first time that has linked Sharon to thousands of years of her ancestors and their traditions. I wonder if Barb too has had her faith enriched by living here.
There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. Now it's bagel time.
Now we're on to bagels.
My family are going to be so excited. My kids love bagels.
Everybody loves bagels.
Yeah. How would you describe your relationship with the Jewish faith? Do you feel more Jewish or less Jewish living here than perhaps you did in the States?
When we lived in Chicago, it just was easier to be Jewish when everybody around you was. But you have to actively think about it more when you're in a place that there aren't so many. And that's Aaron. It's so special. It is a really spiritual place. And nobody's trying to convince anybody to be anything they're not, but everybody's interested in it and the pieces that it has to offer.
Simple though it may seem, baking bread and bagels has been a powerful way for Barb and Sharon to connect more deeply with their faith. And it was coming to Aaron which ignited this spark. Sharon would like to share with me one final important element of Shabbat.
After the Sabbath is over, we sing a song in which we welcome the bringer of peace. And we've been singing that song for 3,000 years.
I love the unexpected, and Barb and Sharon were that. The last thing I was expecting to find here on Arran was the Jewish Cultural Society membership too. And I love the fact that that's what islands do. Maybe they bring out the best in you. Maybe they bring out elements of you that you have hidden away or you haven't been able to celebrate.
I'm starting to see Arran from a different perspective. It's not that religion isn't strong here. Instead, the island is embracing unexpectedly new and diverse faiths. From the hill above the village of Lamlash, where I'm due to meet a boat, I get a glimpse of my next destination.
Arran really has a very unique feel to it that's very different to many of the islands I've been to, that are a little bit more remote, a little bit more rugged. Feels that much more urban here. But my eyes are now drawn to that Holy Isle, which I can't help but feel will have that draw and that spirit that I often look for in an island.
A ribbon of sea 1 mile wide called Lamlash Bay separates Arran from Holy Isle. The ancient Celts once called it Inishoran, or Land of the Water Spirit, and in the 6th century, Christian pilgrims made it their holy place too. I'm following the path of one of them, St. Malasha. The son of an Irish prince, he rejected the throne to lead the life of a hermit and chose Holy Isle. I want to discover what it is about Holy Isle that's made it such a sacred place.
Morning, hi there, I'm Ben.
It's just a 10-minute journey with boatman Grant.
Hello, Ben. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
He runs the dedicated boat service to the island.
Well, look, we've got a lovely sunny morning.
I bet you've done this journey a few times.
I have actually, Ben. Every time a great pleasure. As you know, islands just have a special spiritual energy, and I think you'll feel that quite strongly in Holy Isle.
Do you notice a difference between the people that you took over and the people that come back?
Absolutely.
Really?
I tell them, every one of them. They look very radiant as they left and super radiant when they came back.
So I'm going to come back even more radiant than I am now. I'm going to hold you to that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You might be an exception.
Even from far away, the island looks glorious. It feels like I'm reaching somewhere otherworldly. 2 red-robed figures on the shoreline hint at who lives here now. It's home to a Buddhist community and a place of Buddhist learning and retreat. This is the Center for World Peace and Health. It was the vision of Lama Yeshe Rinpoche, a Tibetan abbot who bought the uninhabited island in 1992. A team of monks and volunteers transformed the derelict buildings and empty pastures into a haven, lush with vegetable gardens and woodlands. What a beautiful place to live.
There's an incredible calmness already. It's got a completely different feel to Arran. Good morning, maybe good afternoon even. I'm Ben.
Hi, Ben. Hey, Ben. I'm Zangpo.
Hi, Zangpo. Thanks so much for letting me come and visit. What a magical place.
It is.
I feel calm.
Well, then it's definitely an impact, isn't it? Because that's immediate.
It is. I'm obviously just a day visitor. Any rules I need to be respectful of?
Well, generally, we kind of ask people to follow the 5 basic precepts. No lying, no stealing, no intoxicants, respecting other people's commitments, and you got me now. I've forgotten the 5th one.
Don't worry. We'll come back later.
Can you remember the 5th one? No killing. There you go. That's important for a Buddhist.
Or for anybody, probably. Well, I like that one. We'll stick to that one.
Yeah.
Can I have a little look around?
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It feels like a different world. I'm greeted by stupas and flags, something I recognise from my travels through Nepal and Tibet, but which I never expected to see in the Scottish Isles. They're sacred monuments to the life of Buddha, containing holy relics and meant to purify the environment. And just up the path, I find the prayer room, where twice each day, the residents chant words of protection and compassion, which ring out across the island. Karma Zangpo is an ordained Buddhist monk. He's lived on the island since the 1990s. He's taking me to a sacred site in the hills, the cave where St. Malasha lived as a hermit. There are no roads on Holy Isle, so we're walking. No bad thing in a place as beautiful as this. How much has the island changed from when you first came?
Oh, it's massive. Massive. I mean, when I first came, all the buildings were derelict. None of the place had been planted with trees. So it was a very, very different place. All around the farmhouse was just grass, basically. And then since then, they've probably put in somewhere near about 40,000 trees now. And it's turned into a little woodland.
The Buddhists chose this island for the spiritual power they felt here, just as St. Malasha had. Tibetan yogis and Celtic Christians share a tradition of seeking solitude for their prayers and meditation. This is St. Malasha's cave. He spent a decade here, under this simple rock, living from the land and sea, drawing water from the spring nearby. The cave and holy spring is still a sacred site visited by Christian pilgrims today. Living here without any basic comfort was an act of true commitment to be closer to nature and God.
That's a pretty basic place to exist.
Generally, they were very tough individuals, very dedicated. And so that kind of hardship was what they were looking for.
Could you imagine doing that?
I could have when I was 20. Now I'm not so sure. There was a time in my life when I did think that that was what I wanted, and I did end up spending a year in the desert in Namibia, living a life of simplicity, sort of prayer and such. But to really authentically do this now would be very difficult in the West. There aren't really places that you could do it.
What was that year of solitude like?
It was amazing, yeah, it was very beautiful. It was similar to this, you know, it had that sort of quality of stillness and kind of naturally supportive of contemplation and prayer.
My journey through the islands is to try and understand some of the historical legacy, but also to maybe understand my own faith. I'm wondering whether you think there are particular places that just attract people of all denominations.
I think absolutely, there definitely are environments that would attract anybody who had that sort of inclination to focus inwards and to try to come to some level of deeper understanding or connection. The minute I stepped off the boat, I felt like I'd arrived somewhere very special. There's a nice expression that the sky and the earth are closer. That kind of a metaphor seems to encapsulate something that describes the sense of it, you know, because you can't really say what it is.
This feels like a sacred island. Just like Zangpo, I felt it as I stepped ashore. At the south of the island, people still live in isolation to strengthen their faith. In these cave-like shelters, closed to the outside world, they practice meditation and the teachings of Buddha. But at the Peace Centre, people of all faiths and none are welcomed. I'm joining students from the University of Aberdeen who've come to learn how mindfulness could help with our very 21st century problems.
So tell me, what are you all doing here? Are you on a course?
Yes. So I have a master's degree in mindfulness studies.
I'm really fascinated by your take on things because the world is at a point where there's so much information, people are so overwhelmed, and presumably what you're studying is how we can have the antidote to that.
Yeah, so I'm looking at compassion in organisations, and I'm looking at that specific to what are employees experiencing at the moment in the cost of living crisis. How can we be a bit more responsible with our decision making on things that impact people, and how do they either get some time or get some support in order to navigate through those different crises.
What advice would you give to anyone who is feeling overburdened by the world now?
Just simple things like hand on heart, the warmth of the touch can really soothe you. So we're learning those techniques in self-soothing and kindness for when those moments do come where we're overwhelmed. To reach out and learn these sorts of tools would really be my advice.
I love the idea that just a few miles away from the chaos of mainland life, people are trying to learn the secrets to cope with it.
Zhang Po is fascinating. He's had an incredible experience that I would love, to spend a year in a Namibian desert wandering the dunes. I mean, that is the stuff of dreams, believe it or not, it really is. And the fact that even after all of that, he's here on a Scottish island speaks volumes for what many people describe as powerful landscapes. It's not just me. It's not just Christians. It's Buddhists and Jews and pagans. We can all see beauty in this. I'm only regretful that I don't get to spend a little bit more time here, because I think that's where you would get the real power of what Holy Isle is.
It's a new day, and I'm back on Arran. This is an island rich in natural wonder. Its famous landmark, Goatfell, stands nearly 3,000 feet tall, a remnant of a mountain range once as high as the Himalayas. Surrounding it are glens carved by ancient glaciers, which create pockets of beauty all over the north of the island. So, I'm off to explore somewhere I have a good chance of finding myself alone. I've been told this path will lead me to a secluded loch 300 metres above the sea. I don't really know where I'm going, but you can't go wrong. Just follow your nose and head up. As I climb higher, I can just glimpse the Mull of Kintyre in the distance. And finally, I'm rewarded with the most spectacular view. This is Corrie Fian Lochen. It means Little Loch of the Fair Corrie. I've never seen a loch with its own white beach before. It feels incredible to be here alone.
This genuinely is a very beautiful place, because for me, beauty is peace and quiet and tranquility. A lot of people have the classic interpretation of beauty, the perfect white sandy beach and the tropical palm trees. But I think the beauty of a landscape is much more nuanced than that. And that's not classically beauty, let's be honest. It's pretty harsh and bleak. It's a hard landscape, isn't it? It's rock and greys, a few hints of green. For me, that is a masterpiece, but it's been enhanced because I've put effort to get here. And that is what adds value. This is where I come to just soak it up.
It's nearly the end of my time on Arran, and I'm heading back to the coast. Arran's unique blend of different landscapes, warm waters and sea air have created a thriving ecology. So special is this island's ability to sustain plant life that a tree grows here found nowhere else on Earth, the Arran whitebeam. I want to learn more about Arran's natural wonders. At the island's southern tip is one of its best kept secrets, a beautiful apothecary garden owned by herbalist Keith Robertson.
Hey, Keith. Wow. Look at the view you have here.
Nice, eh?
Absolutely beautiful. Look at this place. Oh, my goodness.
Keith's beliefs explore an ancient Celtic form of spirituality, which respects nature and its seasonal cycles.
Are you a native islander?
Yes, born here in 19...
Something.
Back when.
Yeah.
My grandparents came here in the early 1900s and were the doctors in medicine here, so third generation.
Keith's grandparents were Christian medical missionaries, travelling to places like Peru to promote Western medicine and the Word of God. Here, on the island, his grandfather was the community doctor and dentist. A century later, Keith's herbalism is an echo of his grandparents' interest in their community's health.
Herbalists say we don't treat diseases, we treat people. And I think that's quite important. Hippocrates said it's not so important the type of disease a person has, more what type of person has the disease.
What kind of things have you got growing here?
This is mugwort. It's cleansing, it's antibacterial. And this is probably ones the Celts would have used, mugwort.
Now you've started mentioning the Celts. This obviously goes back a long way. This is not something new.
No. I mean, we co-evolved with plants. You know, and it's fascinating to know that they've got chemicals in them that are the same as in our bodies. You know, there's a lot of tie-up. Next door to here, we've got nettles. The roots are fascinating. I mean, they have neurotransmitter chemicals in them. We just discovered serotonin and acetylcholine. These are human neurotransmitters, you know, brain chemicals. But we also use the root of the nettle has an effect on the male hormone system, and actually helps protect against benign prostatic hypertrophy, you know, swelling of the problems with
the prostate.
With the prostate, you know.
As a young boy growing up on the island, would your parents and grandparents have utilised all of these? Was this common practice on the island?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of what we call folk knowledge. You know, I think that knowledge is going away a bit, and it's trying to get people back into that knowledge because a lot of it is there for us waiting. It's kind of freeing, isn't it? To know that.
There's something rather humbling about using ancestral knowledge to look at the simple nettle and see it in a whole new way. From the herbs and plants Keith gathers in his garden, he formulates teas and tinctures as natural remedies, here in his beautifully old-fashioned dispensary.
Wow. What a place. This is incredible.
Tincture making, it's reasonably simple affair. You just need a clean jar, sterilise it, and then we just take the nettle roots, we've cleaned them off, and we would just chop them off a bit. So we're going to pour alcohol over them and leave them for a couple of weeks.
Is that actually vodka in that bottle?
Yeah, it's vodka.
How do you actually consume it? What's the process?
You can take drops of it, or you can dilute it in water. and your herbalist will tell you when to take it.
And this is where it comes down to analysing the individual, their lifestyle, how they choose to live.
Yeah, there's a sort of tie-in between the cosmos and the plants and the human being. And I think that's an important part of what we do, keeping that sort of tradition alive, that sort of connection.
What does the island mean to you?
It's always been home. It's always been home. I think people need that connection. It's people are kind of moving away from organised religions, but it's still important that we feel something bigger than us, I think. I use the word the divine to talk about things that are bigger than us. Nature is a force, isn't it, that's bigger than us. And then the whole universe seems to spin on miraculous lines, isn't it? I think it's good for us to have the feeling of being small, and that we leave the place better than we found it, if we can.
Keith has summed it up perfectly. It's good to feel small sometimes. By reviving ancient knowledge, Keith is reminding us how connected we are to a much larger natural world, how we're just one small part of it. I'm ending my journey on Arran, back where I started, in the main village of Brodick.
Hello, everybody!
But I'm returning here with a very different sense of the island than the one I came with. Before I catch the ferry, Keith's invited me to drop by the folk festival. He's emceed the event for 10 years. It's a chance for the islanders to come together and enjoy a good old-fashioned sing-along. I've been warned that it's tradition for everyone to take a turn, which means I'll have to perform something.
No, sorry, Derek, but we've got somebody even more famous than you who's going to come up and give us a... Ben?
You're looking at me?
Ready for this? Yeah, come on, Mr. Fogle. Ben has a poem for us.
I can't sing and I can't play an instrument, so I have spent a little bit of time putting some words together. Some of you may be thinking, who is he? Well, I feel like an honorary islander, and the islands mean a huge amount to me. So I have written, on my phone here, a little poem. It's called Thin Places. Lonely isle, far away, isolated, timeless landscape where few are located. Remote, marooned, secluded and distant, alone, cast away, secretive and persistent. Holy space, watery place, slower pace, my thin place, neither here nor there. Islands interrupt my dreams, invade my thoughts by any means. They take me to another place where nature and I can embrace in a very special space where time takes on a different pace. Here in my thin, thin place, neither here nor there. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Well done, Seagull.
And with that, it's time for me to say goodbye to Keith and to Arran.
Ben Fogle, everybody! Thank you.
What a journey it's been. I started out unsure of the strength of faith or island spirit I'd find here.
It's taken me a few days to really understand what the real character of this island is. And I think I was blinded by its proximity to the mainland and Glasgow.
I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning.
I'd like to think I now have a headline at least to define this island, which is community.
When the shadows of this life are gone, I'll fly away.
Each faith and each community, however small, enriches this whole island. The diversity I've found here has come because of its closeness to the mainland, not despite it.
The island will provide. You will find what you need, what you are looking for, maybe even what you're not looking for. It still surprises me, and it still puts a big smile on my face that there are such warm, good-hearted places in the world. You read so many headlines about collapsing community spirit, and yet you'll find it here.